Do you think that win secured you guys a spot in the NCAA tournament?
I would hope so. I mean, I think we've played against the nation's best and competed, and we've won some, and we've been close with some, and so I'm really proud of this team, and I know that we can compete against anyone.
And did you guys have those conversations beforehand? Because it felt like that was the type of game that if you win that one would get you to the dance.
What I would say is this is a really a goal-oriented team. They have goals, and they fought really hard for them. They've been very focused. While we love, to have those goals, we understand the process is really important, and we didn't overlook a single team each day coming in with that mindset of learning and preparing, and we didn't look ahead. And I think that's a growth even from last season. I think we really just try to focus in on the first game we needed to play, and then from there on.
I don't understand, and I don't think Charlie Cream has like any real like. I don't think he's part of the committee for March, right? Like I think he's just an ESPN guy. Um, I don't get it. How do we get? And you have to let me rant here. How do we get from last week climbing up? They're on this win streak. At the time they were what did it last they'd won two in a row. All this talk that Bella and I had about their season and this and this and that. And your most recent bracketology prior to this had them as a last four buys. They beat Oregon. And again, Oregon looked bad in that fourth quarter. Don't get me wrong. They did keep it close. But they weren't up to snuff. They were not up to snuff. Again, you don't airball that many shots if you are. Okay. And you're now one of the last four in. I wish that this was more of like, because there's this general thing that they put in the bracketology and UW's hardly ever mentioned in it. So I'm like, it doesn't give me anything. But outside of that, it's just the prediction for the bracket and that's it. Like, I have no idea what the thinking is here. Well, not to ignore the fact that yes, Oregon is in there, a team that you just beat and should have beaten the first time around. So it's not like Oregon mollywopped you down in Eugene on that ugly court in the first game, and you just barely skirted by in this one. Okay. Nebraska that you beat is on the last four buys. Like, how does this make any sense? You beat Nebraska pretty convincingly in Lincoln. How? What are we doing? Was like this a mistake? Did Sir Cream of Charles like accidentally put the W in the wrong place? Like he saw the Washington W over Oregon and got them confused and accidentally like I don't get this.
Well, and I saw that they moved, it says Washington moved down.
Yes.
And I believe, is Oregon listed as a 10 seed?
That's a good question.
I believe they were listed as a 10 seed. I had the same
Yep.
reaction.
Oregon versus Oklahoma State.
Very confused. Had to clarify.
I just like I really it doesn't make any sense to me. It has them as an 11 seed having to play Princeton in order to play against Florida State. Like I don't get it. I really don't understand this, and I think it's lunacy. The Nebraska thing makes it worse. I was ready to, as the children say, crash out over the fact that Oregon was in there, not the fact that Nebraska, who you destroyed on the road. I don't get it. I want to know why. I don't think we'll ever know why. And part of like the reason I have, even though I've been yelling on here, some pause is because I don't think he has the involvement. I think this is their analyst, expert, whatever. And I'm interested to see how when we get to selection day, what it actually shakes out to be. Bella, do you have information on that?
I don't know. I don't know what okay. I don't believe he's part of the committee. However, I believe he has a very, very strong track record
Okay,
of getting things more or less correct.
sure. And, I know the national media don't give two shits about what the Washington Huskies are doing currently. They haven't since Kelsey Plum was there. And maybe a little bit of Amber Melgoza, but they didn't see much recognition. Even they didn't see much team success even with her, unfortunately. Um, so it could be just innocuous to him, but Jesus Christ, Nebraska makes it worse. Oh my God. Okay, I'm
I
gonna.
think that I think Nebraska was up there for like previous results. Like I think Nebraska had been further up and they got moved down. The
It's
Oregon one I have no defense for. That I truly don't know. This is the first time hearing about it. I don't understand.
I mean, I hate to ever really advocate for Iowa, but especially, and I say that mainly after that game at Washington, not even because they beat them, just because it was just such a weird environment.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember. I looked earlier today what they were seeded, but I do think that you look at some of the upsets that they have had, and I know we had talked earlier a few weeks ago about, how, Washington had had a statement upset, and that's why it's been, maybe that they've been a little bit overlooked. But I do think that a lot of games are attributed as kind of a one-off, and I think that, yeah, unfortunately, I think that Nebraska one, uh, I don't think should be counted as a one-off, but I'm like, you go somewhere that I know has a reputation of being a hard place to play. You beat them like that. You finish the season, 4 wins. I felt the same way when I looked earlier when I said, I was like, how did they move down? I think it's, yeah, I mean, I mean, just overall, generally looking, even aside from UW, aside from the Big Ten, this tournament is just crazy. Like no one knows. There's no clear winner. The whole coin toss thing with South Carolina and
Oh
Texas,
yeah.
it just everything is so screwed up. And honestly, I agree with your rant, but honestly, at this point, I'm happy to see, and I'm honestly shocked just because, like you say, there are people like us who, are very close with the Washington team, but, national media, not as much because they haven't had that statement win. And so honestly, I'm just happy to see them in the back of, Mr. Cream's mind at all. And I think that, yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation, but I'm just happy to see that they're on the radar. And I agree with you, Bella. I think if they lose to Minnesota in the first round, I'm gonna be a little nervous, but I think if they beat them, I think that there's a very good chance. And again, I feel pretty decently optimistic about Michigan. So I'm gonna be an optimist here and say, unfortunately, it doesn't make sense, but I think nothing happening in women's college basketball makes a lot of sense right now. And I think that every day I've looked at the bracket, it's different. I was just texting Bella earlier today, confused why UConn moved to another side of the bracket. I'm just lost. So,
Like I like, and I'm not saying this to yell at Rowan. I'm saying this because I understand the viewpoint.
yell at me.
Um, but like I don't get like even as a one-off, sure. I don't get how anything Washington did over the past week is held negatively against them, right? Like because again, they went down.
What
So
was Oregon's result before the Washington
they
game?
were
Would
one of
be
the
my
last four
only.
in.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
I
sorry.
assume
The
Oregon
game.
played a game
Got it.
like when Washington played Minnesota.
Let
I
me
would
look it up.
like
Oh,
if that was like a big win, that I could see not being a negative against Washington, but being a positive for Oregon.
they barely beat Minnesota. Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
The
then
margin
that's
difference.
right.
So let me look at this.
I forgot that was a really close game, wasn't it?
They, oh wait, hold on. Jesus Christ. Google is so stupid. Hold on. Let's get there. Let's get there. Do. Now the
Thank you
Oregon
for the
website sucks.
sound effects.
They beat Rutgers pretty decently, but so did Washington. They beat Rutgers 77 to 58 before they lost to UW, and they lost to Nebraska before that, and then they barely beat by 6 points Minnesota.
See
Yeah,
that
so that's odd.
that d- furthers the question
Yeah.
with Oregon. I mean that makes no sense. None.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Just because of my brain, I need to look up what Nebraska did because what the fuck? Yeah, I didn't have like we kind of devolved from a structure with this one, but it's fair because I feel like we've all talked about it. Yeah, well, I look up Nebraska's schedule out of spite. Is there any other thoughts on going into? Okay, they yeah, they beat Oregon and then they beat Northwestern, but like Northwestern,
I don't think Northwestern didn't even make the Big Ten tournament.
No.
no, no.
So
They Nebraska earlier, yeah, they beat Maryland. Jesus Christ.
isn't Northwestern the team that Elodine had 40 points against?
Yes. Um, okay. Yeah, Nebraska's a weird team.
Yeah,
Just
they've
looking
been
at
a
the
bit all
schedule,
over the
they're a weird
place.
team. Yeah. Do we have any thoughts on March besides
Go
what we
Dogs,
said?
rough, 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 rough.
No.
Bow down to Washington, and
No. Not done yet.
we don't know.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just really angry about that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Charles, please. Charles Cream, please come down. Please join the Zoom call. We'd like to speak on this. I don't get it. Okay. Um, I want to end the show with more of a reflection here because this is Bella's second year doing this now. This is only Rowan and I's first full year. This has been a lot of fun. I mean, this is a team with a lot of great character on it. Um, at the Sports Star of the Year Awards, I got to talk to Pat Chun and I asked him about the success of all the winter sports teams. And I mentioned how they work together, like with Delia and Frank on the shirt, right, for Black History Month. And he had a lot of great things to say about Delia. He's like, you mentioning Delia and Frank, but we don't really care about men on this show. Um, just like he talked about her character and this and this and that. And I was like, so it's good to see that other people feel this way, right? And it's been really fun to watch Savia Sellers every single game. Eladine, being able to find the scoring touch, sometimes inconsistently, but still to do so, and always, the humility of Coach Langley so often. It's been a lot of fun. Like, this has been a fun year. It's obviously not done. We still have things to do, and we'll do more of a season review whenever things end, whenever they're surely cutting down the net at March Madness. Of course, national champions. Wrong Huskies. I don't know what that fucking Yukon team is all about. They'll use to the other Huskies, and she'll say, "Wow, you guys are so great. I'm forcing my way to Seattle." Boom, Paige Beckers to Seattle. No, I mean, it's been a lot of fun to do this, and I don't know how often it's talked about how like enjoyable it can be to do our job because it is. Like talking to these people, they make it easy. Like it's not like some teams where it's pulling teeth to try and just get an interview so we can showcase an ounce of your team's personality.
And which
Um,
teams would that be, Charles?
no
We won't
comment.
say, but we both know.
Yes, surely it is the Yukon Huskies. Yeah, I don't know.
I have to
Just
imagine they have good SIDs though, because they get so much media attention.
Well, I'm sure those SIDs like have headaches with all the stuff they have to deal with, including like whatever the hell Paige and Azifud are posting on TikTok. Um, just yeah, I just want some thoughts on the year and this group of women because we'll lose what, three of them, as they move on. But yeah, it's been a pretty fun year, from day one when Rowan and I went and saw them handle things against Seattle U, right? To kind of ending the season that way with Rowan and I there in different ways against Oregon. I know Bella's pissed about that for not being there. But, even then, like other games, like where Bella's texting me like, why the hell are they missing these shots? And I'm like, I'm trying to get home right now. I don't have the game on. Um, just yeah, Rowan, I'll go to you, and then Bella, have you finish things out just to on a personal level. Because again, this is a great group of women, like um, and they've been fun, and we've still got some stuff for them to do here, in as the postseason's like a new season, right? So
I love this question because I've actually been thinking about this since yesterday. It's not often we get to talk about it on a personal level, but I mean, have been away for 3 years in college in a different state, grew up here in Seattle, going to UW games all in high school when I had nothing else to do. Like I've seen the evolution of this team, and it was really, really rewarding to be able to, cover them in some way this year. And it's just so much fun to see. I remember in the Jody Wynn era when I'd be going when I was in high school, and just loss after loss after loss. And really just feeling kind of like this is my hometown team that is never going to reach a point that it reached at that one point with, in the Kelsey Plum era. And I just am so happy. That game yesterday at Oregon was just so full circle. I think another thing from a personal level, we've mentioned it before, but being a Seattleite, growing up living near Garfield High School, I had a really great time yesterday watching Delia Daniels, former Garfield Husky or Garfield Husky, whoa, Garfield Bulldog, and Katie Fiso, Garfield, another Garfield Bulldog. It was really, really fun to see the two of them matched up. They never overlapped at Garfield, but whatever. That's a whole. But anyway, I just have loved. I mean, I feel like I haven't known Seattle basketball without Delia Daniels really ever.
And for you, Coach, and then I'd love to hear from either Tyra or Brenna. I know Percy asked about Delia and her being a senior here, but obviously Seattle, the whole homecoming thing. Can you speak about, obviously, Delia's impact on the court, but the person that Delia is and her impact on this university?
Yeah. You want to start? Let me start. You want it? Okay. I'll begin. So I remember recruiting Delia 3 years ago. We talked about it the other day. We met at a Starbucks and talked for hours. And it was awesome. And, she was from the city. We were a newer staff trying to, just establish a culture and build a program. And I was so excited for her desire to do that with us in her hometown. Her pride for this city is beautiful. And her toughness and her work ethic go with her character. You can be tough and strong and you can still be kind. And she's those things. And so what an incredible person to join us and help us really lay that foundation. It's changed the program that she chose to come here. So we're so grateful.
Well, and then, Delia, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but what does Washington mean to you? Obviously, coming here, you pour your heart out every night. You do things off the court like designing a shirt that's part of this program. What does being a Husky mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of pride, obviously, like where I'm from, as everyone else should. I think what makes this place so special is just like the people. It's not even just like the place; it's just the people that are here. Coach Tina mentioned it. Like they took me in with open arms. I know it's hard, like recruiting out of the portal sometimes because you never know what you're going to be getting. And I'm just glad that they took a chance on me. I know I talked to Percy a little bit. I feel like coming back home saved me, and it saved just who I was as a person and just like my overall career. Again, so I'm grateful for Coach Tina and her staff for just taking me in and welcoming me back home. So, yeah.
I mean, I've mentioned knew of her, played against her middle school, high school, like having her back in Seattle and the way that she has been able to help bring this team to success. When the news came out that she was transferring, it was like, great, but what's going to happen with that? At her first couple of years at Cal, she didn't have a lot of impact. And so it just was such a full circle moment being there for her senior day, seeing what she has brought to this team and the way that the team has succeeded. It's just really fun as a Seattleite who's been away to like really be there and connect back with like just being there at the games. And I have loved kind of getting to know more about Tina Langley and her coaching staff on a more personal level as well. I think they've been really, really fun to interact with, and just overall really, really fun season, and really grateful that I could talk about it with you two, and just, grateful to cover the team. It's super fun.
I'm coming from like almost an opposite place where I did not start watching basketball until 2020 when I moved back home to Seattle from Canada, where I was in university. and like COVID and the WNBA bubble, I was just like desperate for sports to watch. I had always been a soccer person, and the second I watched a WNBA game, I was absolutely hooked. Like, I don't know how, like, literally, my mom played basketball in high school, and she always talked about how much she loved it, and she never brought me to a fucking basketball game. What is that? I still yell at her about it. I'm still upset about it that I missed the Sue Bird era, the Lauren Jackson era, the Kelsey Plum era. Granted, my mom doesn't like Kelsey Plum, but that's because every time she's watched her play, it's been for Vegas against the Storm. So she thinks of her as just like this angry fairy that she doesn't like. Um, but uh, since I've never been one to have like the most school pride. When I graduated high school, I wanted to go literally anywhere but UW. But it was like I don't want to be near anyone I went to high school with. I was like, I'm gonna go to another country. But when I came back and started at UW and, had the opportunity to watch, teams that were legit because in Canada the level of competition is just not the same. The soccer team up there, I think, has won the national title like 5 years in a row because it's just not the most competitive. Um, but it's been so fun to watch so much basketball and learn so much about basketball and have so many opportunities to cover the NCAA tournament, cover this team. And, they're really such wonderful people. And something I've always appreciated about Tina Langley is sometimes I ask questions where I feel like it sort of betrays the fact that I don't necessarily know that much about basketball. But she is always so willing to explain things in an understandable way and really bring people along. Like they're very inclusive and they clearly care about what they're doing and want other people to care. They're not going to force you to care, but if you ask, they are going to be very genuine and helpful about it. So, I mean, for me, it's just been another opportunity to watch some really good basketball. And truthfully, there is nothing that brings me more joy than watching sports and like entertaining players. I think that's part of why I love Savia Sellers so much. Like, give me the behind the back dribble, step back three from way too deep that you hit. Like, I love it. Give me all of the, shake and bakes, all of the blocks. Give me all of that. I want all of it. And I think UW doesn't get enough credit for being a really fun team to watch. Does it suck sometimes when they lose? Absolutely. Do you want to watch a team lose? No. But they are really entertaining players and they work really hard, and I think they deserve a bigger audience than they've gotten. And I really just hope that that audience continues to grow. And I also hope we see Delia as a pro. Charlie Turner Thorne was talking about it on the broadcast, actually, that she is pretty sure that Delia is on some draft boards, or at the very least will get invited into some camps. And
Wonder where
she's
they got
just,
that from.
yeah. I mean, I think it's exciting because, I was bummed when we didn't see Lauren Schwartz go pro. Um, we haven't seen a new pro Husky since Kelsey Plum, really. And I would just love to see her even get a shot because of how much she has impacted this program, how much she has worked. I mean, she's graduating with a master's degree. She has done a ton of work with the um, Black Student Athlete Alliance. I don't remember the exact name, but that is the gist of it. Um, and she is so passionate and caring. And I really, you can tell that she works hard. And I really hope that she gets the chance to show that hard work. And even if it's not in Seattle, though we would like it to be in Seattle.
I was gonna say, I said I
Uh,
didn't know Seattle basketball without Delia Daniels. Maybe we'll see more Seattle basketball. Who knows?
I'm always here for hometown heroes.
Play
You're
Miller.
I mean, we were talking about Shea Holmes on the Rain podcast. Like, we
Woo!
love when UW players end up with Seattle teams. It's just so fun. And I think
Mm.
if anyone deserves it, I think it's her. I think she has worked so hard and been so massive. To be second in blocks in the program after transferring into the program
Yeah.
2 years into your college career is insane. So I know she played 3 years, but she still transferred after 2 years at Cal. So I think the team is just so fun. I truthfully get so much joy out of watching them and talking to them. And it's always something to look forward to. So I am just honestly so thankful for every opportunity that I get to be around the sport.
Yeah. I mean, I told Bella will get a kick out of this, and I'm sure I've told you this, but I remember telling Jess Fishlock and Lou Barnes at a Kraken game when I saw them before I really did this full time that I was raised properly because my parents took me to Storm games in Key Arena and Rain games at Memorial Stadium growing up. And Jess Fishlock, I'm not gonna do her voice, Bella, don't worry. Goes, damn right you were. And I said, yep, that's great. That's very nice. Um, you know, I don't want to say it on the record because I don't want to get in trouble. But we didn't do UW stuff for a while at CSS at wrong shoulder, Jesus Christ. At CSS for a few years. And that was really hard for me as someone who graduated last year and grew up a Husky, even though my father never went. My mom came from the Philippines, so she didn't go to UW in the Philippines. It's not a thing. Um, you know, I grew up going to those games. I grew up there. Where's Kelsey? There's Kelsey, right? So it's been really cool to do this for a full season. Didn't miss a game this year. I annoyed Tina as much as I could when we had the weekly pressers. I said, Tina, I have a question. Not really, but I just had the microphone and
You mean the 3 times we had a weekly presser?
correct. Yes. All 3 times I was there. Yeah. So even times, and Bella knows this, where I left the UW game to go straight to the Kraken game, and they PR still let me in. Like
Shout out
L's
Michaela.
been yes. Do you need me to just clip that like 2 seconds and send it? I will. I would. What? The team has been great. Oop, do I sound different? My microphone clicked out. The team's been great. It was really fun to hear Tina talk about Elle and how she's like this person who changes like lights up a room. And I can already like probably write down the story ideas about Elle and Hannah as seniors and that duo, right? Elle is a senior. It's gonna be crazy. Um, yeah, man. I mean, and learning about the Savius Sellers kid that Bella had told me about, and I was just kind of like, whatever. I'm mad at you, Dub. They won't let me in. And then well, with the delay thing too, when I was doing our UW Weekly show, which I might include this. I'm planning. Oh, this might get some envy. My UW notepad, my Seattle Storm branded notepad.
I have those too. So
Don't make me go get my Spalding basketball notepad that is Storm branded from
I
the
got the
team
same
sale.
one. I think
Shit. Rowan has me got up. Um, we'll probably do our weekly UW show, and I'm gonna cut clips from this and put it into there. Um, but I did an episode on Delia Daniels transferring here. If you go on to the CSS YouTube channel and look up Delia Daniels, it's on there in a really poor thumbnail with my face on it, and I was in my kitchen because I didn't have anywhere else to record it. So, yeah, man. I mean, this has been a lot of fun, and especially when we cover the team as closely as you do, you really want them to go to March. You want them to be able to be part of that. And as Bella was talking about with I think you both talked about it with how they don't get paid much attention to. You want them to showcase what they can do because they can shoot the hell off the basketball, as seen by the percentages, right? And they've pushed them the top teams in the country to the limit. I will continue to say that because they have, right? So I've ranted, I've said emotions, I've sworn a lot, I've pulled out the whiteboard, I've spewed the Devin Coppinger hype again. That is another episode of the Husky Women's Hoop Show. Unless anybody any final thoughts? No. From the red-faced white people, we will continue on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're both
Okay.
red right now.
Like your face doesn't get red. This is bad lighting and a yellow wall. What do you want me to do?
My bright green wall, please. This is
Yeah, the right green
You've
wall.
upset the dog
Wow.
because you made me yell.
I didn't do that to Zero. You did. Don't blame me. It's just like the Chloe Briggs three-pointer when you yelled all over again. I have the most calm wall of you guys. Wow, this is great. Well, color-wise, not.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about this. I've wanted to address that. This is middle school me choice, but we're not going to talk
You're
about it.
actually in the Storm front office, and you've got inside information.
Oh,
You are
sure.
going to help them get
Sure.
Leia Daniels.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. With my bright green wall. Mhm.
Thanks to Lisa. Anyway, Big Ten tournament. All right, we'll see how we feel next week. So, oh wait, before we get out of here, before I get all excited, when's selection day?
It is March 16th
Oh,
at,
so we have
I
time.
believe I have this on. It is March 16th at
Oh, Sunday.
5 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh, why is it in the afternoon? Oh my God. Okay. All right. So we've got some time. I wonder if we'll get availability after the tournament. What the? All right. Until we see you next time. Be well, take care of yourselves, and do whatever you can to make today a great day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, how about them Huskies?
Ooh, purple and gold, baby.
Yeah. When are you going to watch all those away games, though?
All those away games. There are a lot of them, and I was hoping to come to Rough and Tumble because this is the home of Circling Saddle Sports. If that's okay with you.
I think that's a great idea. Hope to see you all here.